Welcome back to Uncorking the Issues, where we're pouring clarity into Temecula Valley politics. I'm your host, Grape Vine. This podcast discusses political and civic issues. The views expressed are solely those of the host and guests and do not represent any political party, campaign, school district, or government entity. Today's episode is titled, Split the Vote, Lose the Race, Democrats and the 2026 Governor Gamble. Are Democrats at risk of losing the governor's race before the general election even begins? Because this isn't a typical election. And if you don't understand the system, you might completely misread the outcome. Let's start with the rule that changes everything. California uses what's called a top two primary system. That means everyone, Democrats, Republicans, independents, all show up on the same ballot. Same race, same day. And only the top two vote getters move on. Not the top Democrat, not the top Republican, just the top two. Now think about what that means. If one party has a crowded field and the other party is more unified, you don't need a landslide to shift the outcome. You just need math. Now look at the Democratic side of the 2026 race. It's crowded. You've got candidates like Katie Porter, Xavier Becerra, Tom Steyer, and Matt Mahan. Each one pulling from a different part of the Democratic base, each one offering a different version of what leadership should look like. Katie Porter brings a sharp prosecutorial style, focused on accountability and middle-class economics. Xavier Becerra brings experience, federal leadership, legal background, a steady institutional approach. Tom Steyer positions himself as the outsider, wealth, climate focus, and the ability to self-fund. Matt Mahan comes in as a pragmatic mayor, focused on efficiency, results, and problem solving. On paper, that's a strong bench. Healthy debate, diverse perspectives. But in a top two system, that same diversity can become fragmentation because voters aren't choosing between parties yet. They're choosing between multiple versions of the same party. And when that happens, votes spread out. Now, let's look at the Republican side. Fewer candidates, more consolidation. Names like Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton. And here's where Temecula Valley comes into play. Bianco isn't just a candidate. He's the Riverside County Sheriff. That means name recognition right here at home, a built-in base, familiarity. And in politics, familiarity turns into votes. So now, connect the dots. If Democratic voters divide their support across Porter, Becerra, Steyer, and Mahan, and Republican voters largely align behind Bianco or Hilton, you don't need Republicans to dominate statewide. You just need Democrats to divide themselves. And that opens the door to a scenario that sounds unlikely, but is absolutely possible. Two Republicans, one general election, no Democrat on the ballot. Now, is that the most likely outcome? No. But is it realistic enough that campaigns and strategists are thinking about it? Yes, because inside the Democratic base, there's a quiet tension happening. Two competing instincts. The first instinct is simple. Vote your values. Pick the candidate who best represents what you believe. Progressive, moderate, outsider, insider, whoever aligns with your priorities. This is the pure version of democracy. Authentic, honest. But there's a second instinct, and it's more strategic. Vote for viability. Ask not just who you like, but who can actually make the top two, because in this system, your vote isn't just expressive, it's mathematical. And here's the uncomfortable part. Those two instincts don't always point to the same candidate. Now bring it back to Temecula Valley. This isn't Los Angeles. This isn't San Francisco. This is a politically mixed region, which means your vote here carries a different kind of weight. In deep blue areas, fragmentation might not change the outcome. But in competitive regions, like Riverside County, it absolutely can, because elections like this aren't just about how many votes a party has. They're about how those votes are distributed. And in a top two system, distribution is everything. So what are the real questions Democratic voters here are facing? Not just who to vote for, but how to think about voting. Do I prioritize alignment or viability? Do I vote with my beliefs or with the math? Do I help shape the future direction of the party? Or make sure it has a place in the general election? There's no perfect answer, but there is a clear reality. The system shapes the outcome. And right now, that system is creating a high stakes balancing act. Too many candidates, too many lanes, not enough consolidation. So as this race unfolds, watch what happens, watch the polls, watch endorsements, watch who starts gaining momentum and who doesn't, because at some point, this race may stop being about ideas and start being about survival. I'm Grape Vine, and this has been Uncorking the Issues, where we pour clarity into Temecula Valley politics. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and don't just watch the race. Understand the math behind